let me share it again. There are four types of cost of qualities. Okay, one is the prevention cost, one is the appraisal cost, one is internal failure, one is due to internal failure, and one is due to external failure. Now, Santosh is with us too. So, Santosh, can you tell us about these things? Like prevention cost. So, it is like, before having any kind of problem, we need to prevent that thing. Suppose we are creating something and we think that okay, something may happen, and we need to focus on that thing again. So when after a thing gets complete and we focus on that particular thing again, then we need to do reinvestment of money, reinvestment of time, reinvestment of interest, reinvestment of endeavor, everything. But what if we can stop it before something has happened, right? So these are the things which comes under the prevention. So how can we prevent? Kalpana, you have done quality, Six Sigma. So what do you think? How could we prevent the things?
Prevention. Am I audible?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, but your voice is too low. Will you please bit louder? Are you using headphone?
Hello? No, sir. From laptop.
Okay.
Uh, Prevention means we have to eliminate the error, and we have to work where the product should be error free. There shouldn't be any
Yes.
scope of any error to create, means to go to that step. Suppose it's
Yes.
a charger, a mobile charger. We cannot
Mhm.
put USB pin opposite side. It has to be in the same direction only. There, then only it is going to connect. So it is the error free one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So if we need to make that thing error free, what we need to do?
We have to analyze the scope of work.
Mhm.
I
Okay,
can't
try to
explain
think in try try to think in simple languages. First, try to understand this thing. Okay, suppose you are cooking food in your home.
Yes.
Somehow, while cooking, you think that okay, this is the first time I'm doing this thing, and not first time. Previously, two times I have done this thing. Now I'm also doing the same thing. Now, back of my mind, I'm also thinking like, this cooking must be go in a good manner, else the people who are going to go for lunch will abuse me. So,
But
in order to do that correctly, what
I
measures would you like to take?
will refer the recipe book, previous work which I have done. If I have a recipe book, I'll go to
Mhm.
YouTube and see how that recipe is, or I'll do that thing under some supervision. So
Okay, so what that thing is known to us. Okay, next, what more we can do? So after we take the training and development program, we can think that okay, we should evaluate ourselves. So we can understand the thing in that way, right? We can do this thing. Now, for the companies who focuses on large production, large projects, there are some other kind of people who are skilled and experienced in the field. They used to provide those training and development program to those trainees so that they can go for the work error free. What other thing an organization can do for this prevention, you know, uh, to prevent the errors? They can establish standards like for quality services, right? They can focus on some standards. They can create some standards of their workers, of their people, right? So that they can get the quality services. What usually we know used to know as terms and conditions. They used to the company's organization used to uh, focus on the terms and conditions, right? Then they can do one more thing. They can develop and use quality team people, the people who are serving the organization, the doing the work, basically the people who are from the team. They need to understand the team, whether the team is capable of doing the job or not. If the team is not capable of doing the job, then the output will be as expected. That is a failure one, because they don't know, they are not trained on that situation. But if the quality of the team members are really very good, then there is nothing to worry about. The thing whatever they are on to will be a perfect one, because they are skilled, they are aware what they are doing and what they need to do. That is what develop and use quality team. And the last one is developing a plan for quality production. That means again, it is also focusing on the same thing. Okay, so by doing this, we can prevent some sort of things, can't we? Kalpana, understood now?
Yes.
Any problem now? If you find any kind of problem, you can tell us. It's completely okay. So now it is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now comes the appraisal cost. This cost is incurred by the company when they would like to get assured about the things, what they have prepared. That is what known to us as appraisal cost. Now, how we can understand that the product we have prepared is well and good, and it has been done as per the plan?
Means once we get a feedback of that product,
Yes, but how we can get the feedback of the product? We need to do something in order to get the feedback of the product.
we have to take a feedback of that customer or the quality test of the product.
Okay, so we can tell that quality testers or quality audits,
Yes.
right? So we can understand whether the particular thing is working well, or the thing what we are on to, we have made it. So we need quality testers or auditors, right? Apart from that, what we can do? We can verify the
Verify with
process.
the verify the process with the some checklist some
Yes,
standards.
yes, right. This is the thing. And if we are doing something, we need to understand about the suppliers, right? So we should understand whether we are receiving all the materials through the verified supplier or not. So checking suppliers and materials. Okay, so now we are able to understand the appraisal cost. Okay, now comes the third thing, which is known to us as internal failure. Okay, so as he told about the internal failure, it is, in a very good manner how Santosh has explained the thing. So when we are talking about the internal, then it has not been out from the from the organization's factory, the manufacturing unit, and the external cost are the cost which has incurred after the thing has reached the customer. Okay. Now internal failure. So we need to focus on internal failure. So what could be the internal failures? Retest would be one of the internal failures.
Yeah,
Then we
retest,
can go
rework.
for, yes, rework is another one. Supplier fault would be another one. Loss of goodwill, no, supplier fault would be there.
manpower.
Troubleshooting would be there. No, lack of manpower is not here. Uh, Late shipment cost. So these are certain costs which we can use as internal failure. And for the external failure, we can say complaints. Then we can say warranty cost. Then we can say uh, loss of goodwill, loss of reputation, dealer discount to sell product. Okay, so these are certain kind of uh, things what we are getting from the external failures. Now, at every stage, you can see that in order to understand the cost, in order to understand the cost, understand the quality, we need to incur some cost by by preventing this thing, in order to prevent this thing, or for the as appraisal, or sort of internal failure, sort of external failure. Every time we need to focus on some investment. That is what known to as cost of quality, or COQ. Now, if you see a graph, okay, I have showed this thing previous time also. So again, I'm showing this thing. So if you see the graph of a journey of creation of a product, then basically this journey is made of certain spheres. First one is we do requirement collection, then we do design, then we build that product, then we test that product to understand whether as per the requirement, design, and the build, the product is working or not. If the test is okay, then we go for regular production. If we do not go there, then it is, means if we don't get actual test result, then we focuses on requirement gathering again, designing again, building again, then again testing. Now, if it is okay, then we can go for production. So if it is, suppose, if we see this thing, this requirement, design, build, test, and production, then the entire journey is bit critical. Okay. And the cost would go higher like this. Okay. That means whenever you are getting some error, if you are getting it in the early stages, suppose when it was requirement gathering phase, you got the problem. So the cost of the quality would be one time of the actual cost. Okay. If you face the problem while in designing, then it is actually five times, because requirement gathering has already been completed, right? So when you are designing, you are getting that okay, there is a problem. So what you need to do, you need to again go for the meeting with the client, you need to go for visits and do everything. So now if you need to design, then you need to again start from the requirement phase. Now in this phase, you will get your expenses incurred bit higher. That is what? Five times. Okay, that is five times higher from the normal cost. Then comes build. Now you are in the build phase, and again you got that okay, there is a problem with design. Now again you need to go for requirement gathering. So again you need to set for the meeting. Again you need to do the every actions what you have done. So again you repeat all the thing, and you need to complete the job. After that, you need to design the product. Then you can build it again. Now you have done all the things. Okay, in building phase, it is 20 times higher if you get the fault than the normal amount one. Now, if you get a problem in testing, so what you need to do, again, you go for the requirement collection, right? Part by part, you need to understand this. Then you can design this. Then again, you need to build this and test this. At that point of time, it is 50 times higher than the actual cost if you get any kind of issue in the test. And lastly, if you focus on production and while producing the particular thing, if you get the problem, then it's pretty clear that the cost which is getting incurred for everything would be a bit higher and much higher. It is 150 times higher than the actual cost which we can get in the production. So that is what known to us as the cost of quality, or COQ. These costing things we are talking about. Now, is it clear for all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Kalpana?
Yeah.
Kalpana, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it clear now, Kalpana?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, can anyone tell me what is suboptimal outcome? Anyone?
Company credibility will increase if you're giving a quality service or product.
Okay. Apart from this, what do you think? What it could be?
Okay. And elimination of unwanted cost.
Okay.
If somewhere lean is not applicable or it's not applied, sorry.
Okay. Anyone would like to say anything?
Also, you can say as cost of poor quality.
Okay. Okay. The thing is, like, suppose we have done a project and we have got some sort of things, but it is not as expected. But we have got something. That thing, what we have got, which I'm telling is something which is not as per our expectation, is going to be a suboptimal outcome.
Achievement.
Like I was giving an example, Kalpana was cooking something, but she was unable to understand whether she has cooked it or not in a right way. Now, while doing the lunch, the person who is eating that particular thing may think, okay, Kalpana has done a good job. Okay, let let us go for a lunch. Let's start the lunch. But after eating that thing, they may may think like it was not as expected. But the thing is like we can eat this thing, and it is better not having a lunch in this time.
Satisfaction.
That is what suboptimal outcome is in terms of project. That means if you are doing a project of IT and you are creating a website which is a dynamic one, what you have thought about it that I am going to get it in such a way, you are not getting it, but at least you are getting something through which you can do your job. So that is what suboptimal outcome is. Everyone clear? All right. All right. So if we talk about this measurement performance domain, this domain actually addresses some sort of activities and functions which are associated with assessing uh, project performance and taking appropriate action to maintain acceptable performance. Like we do planning, we do a lot of things, right? We do create some sort of things like we create actually uh, the project charter, we do create the project management plan, we do create every document, every artifacts in order to plan the particular project, because planning is everything, right? Planning is everything. And can anyone give an example on this planning? Why, how we can say planning is everything by any quote or by anything? Can you give an example on planning? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, yes. Just
Okay.
thinking.
There's a great, you can say, kahawat.
Where there is a will, there is a way.
I mean, nothing works out without a plan, but I'm thinking to put it in the right way. Because
Okay.
anything you do, I mean, in terms of production
What
or
are the plan?
yeah, everything requires a plan. Example, even if I'll have to reduce my weight. Okay,
Mm,
example. Okay, I'll have to plan first. Okay, thought process
mhm.
on it. Okay, so how will I do it? Maybe 5 whys, asking internally, running through a thought
Okay.
process, then put it on a paper. Okay, then execute it. So I will directly execute it, will not work. Maybe let's take a film industry. So I'll have to plan
Mhm.
properly and have a first outline script. Okay, then go for a bounded script. That's planning in film industry. Okay, so likewise, any industry you take, I think you should have a thought process, then put it on a plan on a paper, and then execute things in a simple
Okay.
words.
Okay. In
A
a
goal without a
simple,
plan is just a wish.
okay. Okay. I'm going to say something. Just tell me whether we can say this thing for planning or not.
Sure.
It has been said by a great person. So he told that if I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 6 hours sharpening my axe. It was told by Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln. Yes.
That means if we need to do something, we need to give enough time to us to plan about the particular thing so that we can go as per situation, we can go as per system, right? As per our expectation. Now, that sharpening axe would be acting like planning for us. But what if we do not track where we are or whether we are going through the plan or not? It is also much important to understand to track down the entire process, the execution thing, what we are executing, whether we are executing it in a right way or it's in a wrong way. Like in predictive approach, there is measurement, there is what? Can anyone tell me? Monitoring, controlling. There is a process group known as monitoring and controlling. So we can say that measurement performance domain as monitoring and control. Right. So measurement performance domain actually tells everything when it comes to have a status of the current project. So this performance domain is essential to get the information how work is progressing. You can say this is one of the biggest or important work of project team. This domain is all about understanding variances, thus using baseline identification in planning and all. Performance can be measured and evaluated. So to determine appropriate action to be taken through the course of the project, accurate information about the project is needed very much. So the artifacts which are the part of project plan should get compared with the actual work to verify the result. So these measurements are used for multiple reasons. Why would we measure the things? Why would we measure the things happening in the project? Because we need to evaluate the performance compared to the plan. So why measurement performance domain? Number one, we need to compare execution versus planning. This is number one, right? Without comparing execution with the planning, we won't be able to understand where we are, how much we need to go, and how we can do it by measuring the things. Apart from that, tracking utilization of resource. If we do not track the utilization of resource, then we would not be able to understand how can we or when can we complete the project work. Okay. Then come demonstrating accountability. So if our seniors or the client would like to know where we are right now, what would he say? If we do not measure, we won't be able to understand where we are right now. So we will not be able to tell that in which phase we are right now. It has not been started. It has been already started. Work in progress. About to complete. We are so far. We have completed what? Everything we need to demonstrate. So demonstrating accountability. Providing information to the stakeholders. Now we know that stakeholders are internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, influenced by the project managers and project management manager influenced by some other person. So basically here we are talking about the internal one and the external one. So if we do not measure, we won't be able to tell our client where we are, like I just told about demonstrating accountability. Likewise, we need to tell the current status of the project to the development team so that they can focus on the development, right? We can prepare Gantt charts so that we can understand where we are currently. The external people means the supplier, the contractor, the subcontractor, and all. We need to also mention them the same thing because they are also the people who are focused on the project work. If they do not get any kind of stage of the product, they will not be able to focus on the resources. It may happen that they stop providing us the resources. It may also happen that they will, you know, give it to us in over manner. So that is the reason why we need to provide information to the stakeholders. And lastly, we can say assessing project deliverables and tracking. Right. So we can understand that how much time we are in need to complete with our deliverables. So that is the reason what we are getting if we are focusing on measurement performance domain. Okay. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about some special things, important things, effective measurement of method, right? Then we will focus on what are the measurements or measures we can take. Then we will learn about presenting the information using various visuals and methods. After that, I will discuss about the measurement pitfalls, troubleshooting performance, and lastly, growing and improving of measurement actions. So these are the things what I'm going to make you understand. Now, first of all, before starting the entire session, we need to understand some definition. So first definition, what we need to understand is metric. Can anybody tell me what do you mean by metric? Anyone?
A measurement system which you are following.
Okay. Yes. We can say a description of measuring an attribute. This is what known to us as matrix. Okay. Baseline. Can we tell us what is baseline? Baseline.
So it's
So maybe
like
for comparison, base for comparison something.
it's like the bottom line of your achievable target or something like that.
Yeah, upper
Hmm.
specification limit and lower specification limit.
Yes, correct. So we can tell approved version of expected values or conditions against which all performance are compared. So this is what known to us as baseline. Approved performance. Okay, means you can set the minimum point beyond which it is not considerable. That is what baseline is. And then comes dashboard. So dashboard is, it is, we can say that collection of graphical interfaces of data to get to know about work details. That means that means dashboard has become a common thing, a normal thing for everyone. It is not a rocket science. In every software where we do deal with so much big data, right? In Excel, we see thousands of line, hundreds of line. In some database management system, we see lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of lines. But those datas are very complicated in order to understand. Now, suppose any of the data is showing us the current trend of the market, how the customers are thinking. Now, it is not possible for a single person to understand, to read all uh, the entire data, the entire report, and take decision. It's not possible. So it's not possible for a single person to understand or have an understanding on these trends. That is the reason what we do. We do take help of visualization. What is known to us as pie chart, graph chart, line chart, bar chart in Excel. We can also do this thing using some softwares and all. Now there are so many types of software. We can see some software from Microsoft is there, Microsoft Dynamics. Okay, through Microsoft Dynamics, we can go for this thing. We can go for Microsoft Power BI. It is one of the data management software through which we can create so many types of report. You can go for Tableau. Tableau is one of the version, the software. We can create so many types of visualization in it because visualizations has become, one of the major tool of analysis. If you are getting thousands of data, it's not possible for a single person to recall all those things in their mind, what this person has told, how much percentage of these people are telling this thing. So it is not possible. But yes, if we use visualization tool like my Power BI or you can say Tableau, then it is bit possible for us to understand the entire trend. That is what dashboard is. All right. Now we will start learning the actual thing. Okay. So first of all, we are going to learn about establishing effective measures. Okay. Can anyone tell me that how to establish effective measures which allow project team to use information to take timely decision?
You're asking for the methodologies.
Yes, how can we do that? How can we how can we establish effective measurement? Because we need to understand where we are standing right now. We need to measure everything,
Hmm.
right? Company person also you measures our performance using KPI, KRS.
Correct. That's right.
So we also need to understand where the entire project is standing right now. So how can we do that?
Through some analysis.
Simply we can tell that we can allow tracking, we can start evaluating, we can start reporting about the information which can measure the project status to help the project team to improve the performance, and if they are thinking like they are deteriorating, we can stop it in simple way. So there are some indicators which are present which we can use to track the status of the project works. Okay, so we need to understand that thing. So like I told one thing, that is the KPI means key performance indicator is one. And the second one is effective matrix. So these are the two things which we can take into consideration. All right. So let's first talk about the key performance indicator. So can anyone tell me something about the key performance indicator? What you know about this?
Yes, I mean, every company will have certain KPIs, and some companies call it as KRA, key result area or key performance indicator, is the deliverables of every individual.
KRA is different than KPI. KPI is what you are doing, measuring your performance by assessing your performance. And
Mhm.
KRA is key responsible area, means
Area,
your JD, basically.
job description. Yeah.
Yes. KRA is basically JD, that what you need to or you supposed to do. What all the responsibilities you need to handle. That is what KRA is. But KPI is how you are doing, whether you are doing giving your efforts to 80% or 90% or 100% or 50%.
Basic
So in
It can be a target and
for
okay, yes, another person was speaking. Who was speaking? John, are you telling something?
no, I was saying about something like yield, measurement of your yield of a product.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so that is up to a percentage, like what percentage you can yield uh, product output. So 95%, like you said, 93%. So how well you are achieving those performance.
Yes.
Quantifying the measurement of
Yes.
performance.
Quantify. Yes. Right.
Okay.
Quantifying the measurement of the performance.
Okay.
So
Got
key performance indicators, we can say, is a measurable value of the critical key component indicator, which shows the progress towards intended results. So KPI, if we focus on KPI, KPI helps understanding success or failure of the initiative. Basically, KPI are the metric which are being used to track the success of something which is intended. Now, there are also two types of KPI, or rather KPI indicators, we can say. First one is known to us as leading indicators, and the second one is known to as lagging indicators. Leading one and the lagging one. So these are the two types of indicators what we have. Now let's understand the left one, that is leading indicator. Okay. So both the leading and lagging indicators help the organization leaders understand the business condition and trend. So this kind of KPI indicates, means the leading indicators actually indicates whether the project or the product implementation is moving towards the right direction or not. So this kind of KPI is used to predict changes, and thus they are able to identify the problems which in earlier stages would have been difficult to get. As example, we can say traffic conversations, right? The traffic conversions are indicators for e-commerce platform. Like, we have created e-commerce platform and your trend is showing that new customers are not getting entered or not visiting your website. Okay, so just give me a minute. Okay, sorry. So Suppose you have created e-commerce software or food delivery application. Now, based on the customer visit, customer traffic, you would be understanding whether the thing what you have created is actually loved by the customer, and the KPI shows okay, there is good inflation, we can say, right? It is going upwards. So growth in sales pipeline, we can say, growth in new markets, we can say. Okay. People are spending at least 25 to 35 minutes or 40 minutes in the website. They are searching through the products. So these all are the leading indicators. If we talk about the lagging indicators, then lagging indicators is a measurable fact that records the actual performance of the organization. So this KPI type provides information how things are right now. Means this KPI reflects past performance. So lagging indicators can be used to find correlations between outcomes and environment variables. Some example on lagging indicators would help you to understand what it is. Like when we get the report of annual sales, we actually get what we did in the present. Growth margin, net annual income, growth in annual income. So these all are the reports through which we can understand how we have done the things. Leading indicators means it is bit based on assumption. Okay. Or you can say, these are the indicators what we are not getting in real time. But lagging indicators, we are getting real time things so that we can understand how we did the job within a given time period. That is what's known to us as leading indicators and lagging indicators. And if we focus on the effective matrix, to save time and effort. Okay, before understanding the effective matrix, John, can you tell us what is the leading indicators?
Leading indicators. Something like target, what is been looked upon.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Ravi?
Sir, leading indicators are mainly it's based on assumption.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Lagging indicators are mainly it is an actual real-time indicators. And both indicators they will tell us the past information about the organization.
Okay. Okay. Santosh? Santosh, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Leading indicator could be a
It also may be a reference
analyzing
for
and
your future
predicting our
performance.
future outcome. Maybe for quarter 3. I mean, just giving an example of the real-time work which I do. Okay, for example, if we closed our sales for say 200 for last quarter. Okay, but this season we'll have festivals. We have Ganesha, Diwali. Okay, maybe I'm forecasting a different number because of festivals. So that's leading indicator. Certain goals or predictions which I have, and based on that, I'll set a target.
Yes, right. So first of all, we are getting assumptions, right? Or we are telling that these are the thing what we are expecting. But the lagging indicator says us the after effect, what we have already done. So it is showing us the actual result. That is the reason companies focuses towards the lagging indicator, not the leading indicators. Okay, everybody understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Kalpana,
Yes.
are you there?
Sir. But
Are
then,
you
sir,
there?
why it is a term is used as lagging? Lagging means we are behind.
In this system, in this sector, lagging doesn't tell us we are behind. It is telling that what we did. When we are forecasting something, inflation rate, right? Higher interest rate, then competitors. So these kind, when we are focused towards this kind of thing and we are forecasting this could happen, that is what known to us as leading indicator. But what we actually do within a certain period of amount of time, that is what lagging indicator is. Actually, you are assessing your work. You are getting actual information. These type of you can say indicators is not going to help you to predict your future trend. Okay, that is what known to us as leading indicator and lagging indicator. Suppose you have created the e-commerce platform and you are thinking that you should get at least 50 visitors per day who are searching for the product. But when you have measured it for last 6 months, you received that the result is not actually how you thought about it. Basically, when you are forecasting the data, you have taken some referral data and you have forecasted that thing. But in the real time scenario, you are getting the actual amount of entry in your website, not the forecasted one. That is what known to us as leading indicators and lagging indicators. Okay, now effective matrix. So when we would like to save our time and effort, the project team should only focus on measuring what is relevant. We should not focus what is not relevant. Okay, what is relevant, we need to focus. Now, how we can do this? It's very simple. We have done this thing. We have read this thing in any kind of corporate meeting. That is the SMART process. S for specific, M for meaningful, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T for time bound. So we can write it down over here. The SMART process. So when we are talking about the S means specific, so you can include the number of defects which have been fixed or average time to fix, right? Meaningful. You must measure the attribute like business case, baseline, requirements in order to improve objective or the performance. Achievable. The target is achievable and the target is given to the people, to the technology, to the environment. Now, there is also one thing. It may happen with the sales team that they have given fictitious target. The main problem after giving fictitious target is the people who are onto that, they get demotivated and demoralized because they already knew that this couldn't be done. So they don't show their effort and they hibernate themselves. So whenever you are focused towards something, it could be a sales work or it could be a job, right? So it could be a reporting structure or something. You need to provide it to your teammates and it should be achievable. You should understand whether it is achievable or not. If it is not achievable, then please do not give that particular job to your teammate, because if you do so, then you are sure you are not going to get that thing done, right? So it must be achievable. Relevant. So measure what you take should be relevant. It should have relevance with your work. And last one is timely or time bound. We can say that is everything is happening based on time restrictions or not. That is what smart process is. Okay. Okay. Now comes what to measure. So previously it was how to measure. Now it was what to measure. Okay. So what to measure, can anyone guess? See.
Final outcomes and the
Okay.
periodical products,
Okay.
periodically or finally, like we have said earlier.
When we are talking that what to measure, then here we need to understand one thing. The measurement method and the parameter which is based on the project. So what you need is a balanced matrix to help picture the project and its performance. So basically there are some common categories of matrix which we can discuss here in order to understand what to measure. Okay. So the first one is known to us as deliverable matrix. So when, based on necessity, the product or service or the result is being delivered by some measures. Again, there are some types of measurement which can take into consideration. Okay, which one is, so these are the three things which we can measure in deliverable matrix. So first, information on error of defects. So we can include source defect, number of defect identified and number of defect resolved. Now you can do it using software, a customized software. Apart from that, you can use Excel or any kind of spreadsheet where you can provide some sort of headings like the serial number or the reference number, serial number, then comes the reference number. Okay, then comes the source defect, okay, from where the defect has arisen, number of how many numbers of defects are there what we have identified, and the numbers of defect you have already closed, means it is resolved and the ticket is closed. So you can do this in order to understand how to measure, means the deliverable matrix. Then comes measure of performance. So we can include the measures of performance like the size, the weight, the capacity, the accuracy, the reliability, efficiency, or other physical or functional attributes. And number three, technical performance measures. Means here we can include quantifiable measures of technical performance which provide insights into projects, into progress, okay, in achieving technical solution. So we can create some sort of headings, and based on that, we can take the measurement of the problems what we faced in our current project. Based on that, we can understood that how many defects we have received, how we have worked on that, and how many have we have resolved. So this is also one of the lessons learned what we know, which is very much useful in, or you can say, for the future project. Then the second one, delivery. So first, what we measured, deliverable matrix we have measured. Now what we are measuring? We are measuring the delivery. How we can measure the deliverable matrix? By understanding or measuring the information on errors or defects. Secondly, measuring the performance and measuring the technical issues. Okay. Then comes delivery. So WIP means work in progress, lead time, then cycle time, queue size, batch size. So we can understand this thing by this measurements. Now work in progress. John, what do you mean by work in progress?
It's the existing WIP or in stock we have in hand.
Okay. So Santosh, how we
So,
can measure
so how
this work in
much?
progress? Yes, John, go ahead.
No, sorry, you're telling something.
Okay. Santosh, so how can we measure this work in progress? It's why we should measure this work in progress.
So to understand whether we are, I mean, we'll have a checklist to understand if from the input to the output, it's going on, I mean, on the right track, and are we able to deliver it on the right time? If I take an example.
Absolutely, absolutely. So suppose a complete timeline has been given to us, and within this timeline, we need to complete the job. So if we do not measure the work in progress, how much we need to we have in our hand to complete, we won't be able to understand our timeline. Okay. Then comes lead time. So Ravi, what do you think? What is lead time? Means why we should use this measurement method in our project? Lead time. What does it indicates?
Time.
Yes.
Lead time means total how much of time I have taken for completion of my job from starting to ending.
Okay. So this time you are also correct. That means if we focus on lead time, then it is actually the amount of time it is showing from the starting of the project to finish of a project, and it is indicating this starting and ending timing of a process. Okay, that is what lead time is known to us. Okay. After that, cycle time. So Kalpana, what do you think? What is cycle time? Kalpana, are you there?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Time means how much time it will require to complete that project or task.
See, whenever we see that cycle, that means it must be a process what we are following.
Hmm.
Right. So if we are focused towards cycle time, measuring cycle time, then it is all about how we measure a, a process. Okay. Suppose a life cycle is going on, so we need to understand that life cycle. Then only we will understand this cycle time. Okay. So
That
from
means
starting,
cycle time means time taken to complete each phase.
suppose we are doing a project based on iterative approach. So what we know, what is iteration? Iteration means doing the thing in repetitive manner.
Yes, a plan, build, check, right?
right? Suppose from 12 to 12, if an analog clock takes from 12 to 12, it is an iterative process, right? That is a cycle time. Then comes queue size. So why we need this queue size? To understand the number of items which are included in the group, so that we can understand that how much work is outstanding, right? Again, it is calculating. Batch size, why we need to understand or measure the batch size? The measurement actually needed in understanding the batch size, because we need to understand work or effort, the story points. That means here we need to understand that how much time we are in need to complete an iteration. And lastly, processing efficiency.
Can you repeat queue size?
Queue size means, suppose you are doing a job, right? You are doing a job, and often a job has some trail. So if you do not understand that trail, how would you understand that within how much time you can complete the job?
You mean to
So
say that
that measure is known to us as queue size.
a set process or
Yes, a set of processes, what is outstanding,
okay.
right? Then comes processing efficiency. So this measure actually shows the process efficiency ratio to optimize the flow of the work. It simply calculates value added time and non-value added time. That's it. Okay, that is known as processing efficiency. Then comes another one, that is baseline performance, effort and duration, we can say. Schedule and variation, we can say these are the things what we can see here. Okay, start and finish date. It is very much easier. So when we compare actual start date and actual finish date, you can measure the extent to the work which is accomplished as per planning. So late start and late finish dates can indicate project's performance lag. So you can understand what to measure. This time we are measuring baseline performance. And how we are measuring the baseline performance? By calculating the start date and finish date. So if you are calculating the start and finish date, you will get the tenure of the particular project work. Now, if the tenure is matching with your planning, then yes, you are on the track. If you are above that thing, then already you have a lot of time in your hand. You are fast tracking. And if you are having, a big span of time delay, then you are off the track and you are lagging. So we need to understand whether we are lagging or we are leading or we are on the balanced method of completion of the work. So that thing, particular time management, is known to us as by measuring the start date and finish date. Then comes effort and duration. It is also same type of thing. So actual effort and duration is compared to the planned effort and duration, which indicates whether estimates for the amount of the work and the time of the work takes, both are valid or invalid. If both are valid, then yes, we are on track. If both are invalid, then something fishy is happening and we need to focus on that thing. Okay. Schedule variances. So this is basically the difference in between earned value and planned value. Okay. So here, one thing I must tell you, one is planned value and one is okay. So here, EV doesn't means electric vehicle. It is earned value. Okay. Do not forget this thing. So schedule variances are two types. One is planned value, which is being denoted as PV, and one is earned value, which is being denoted as EV. Okay, so there are calculation based on these things, which I'm going to show you later. So PV is actually the value of the work that has planned. Okay, and EV, earned value, is the value of the work that has actually been completed. Right. So PV means you have planned that you are going to do this job within 5 months, But when you are evaluating that thing, okay, based on the earned value, you are getting that, okay, it's already 5.5 months. So you can understand your performance. So that is why we need to measure. Then comes, okay, let me share you one example. Okay. Now, if there is a project going on of $1,000, the duration of the project is 10 months. Now, if someone asks you that what is the status of the work after 5 months, send me the PV, then we need to apply a formula and we need to send the report to the concerned person. So, how we can do that? That means here is the formula. You can write down the formula. So, PV is equal to task budget multiplied by percentage of completion, right? So here if we ask that what is the PV, that means what we can say, that means here PV is equal to 50% of $1,000, means $500. Suppose the budget of building a home, building a construction of a building, okay, construction of a flyover is 1 crore rupees. The time as allotted to the construction members is 12 months. Now, after 6 months, if any person is telling that what is the PV, so what we need to do, we need to calculate the time and we need to multiply it by the budget. Then we will get the PV, planned value over here. Then comes schedule.
Sir, is there any formula for EV also?
Which one?
EV, N value, N value.
EV. Yes, EV is also there. Actually, I'm not getting into detail. I'm just giving overview. Every for every calculation, I will be giving you all the formulas separately. Okay. Then comes schedule performance index. So this is a kind of index on an earned value management which measures and indicates the efficiency of the performed schedule work. And lastly, we are getting feature completion rates. So during frequent reviews, it's all about examining the rate of the feature acceptance to assess the dates of completion and cost associated. That is what the feature and rates are. Apart from that, we are having more things what we need to measure. So one of them is resource 2. So here plan resource utilization compared to actual resource utilization would be one, and planned resource cost compared to actual resource cost. These are the two things what we are getting in resource. Okay. So planned resource utilization compared to actual resource utilization. So here we can measure the actual usage versus estimated usage of resources, because we are talking about resources. What we are measuring? We are measuring resources. What we are measuring? We are measuring resources. The actual data means actual users versus estimated usage. So you can calculate it by subtracting the planned usage from the actual state. So it is very common thing. And the second one is planned resource cost compared to the actual resource cost. So again, we are focused towards resource, but this time previously it was utilization, this time it is cost. So here you can compare the actual cost of the resource versus the estimated cost, right? So it is again measuring the cost, measuring the resource. First one was measuring the utilization of the resources, and second is the cost of the resources. Okay, so this is what it is. All right. And apart from this, what we need to compare again, means measure again, that is business value. Business value. So here we have cost benefit ratio. This is a measurement of expected PV, present value, of an investment with initial cost. So it is a cost benefit indicator to determine viability of cash flows generated from a project. That is cost benefit ratio is. Then comes planning benefits delivery compared to actual benefit delivery. So you can understand this thing by the name itself. So organizations identify value as a benefit that will get it, delivered as the result of doing project throughout its life cycle. So projects which expects to deliver benefits, measure the benefit and the value of that, compares that with the business case, then you can justify the continuation or the termination of the project. Right. So that is known to us as planning with benefit delivered compared to the actual benefit delivered. Then comes ROI, means return on investment. So it is a performance of the metric which is used to evaluate how well or dull the investment has performed. So by measuring this throughout the project team can determine whether investment needs to get continuous or stopped. Then comes NPV. Okay, that is net present value. So net present value is calculated when you want to take the project. You need to find out the difference in between the present value of the inflow and present value of the outflow of capital over a period of time. That means it is the value of future cash flow, and it may negative, or it may be negative or positive throughout the project. So NPV analysis is used to help determine how much an investment or project or any series of cash flow is worth. Based on this only, companies takes the project. Okay. And apart from this, we can also tell more things like we can say stakeholders. So we can say stakeholders. So there are also various methods to understand the stakeholders. Okay. Net promoter score, or NPS, again it is a separate thing. Previously it was NPV. Now it is NPS. NPS means net promoter score. So this is a type of matrix which is used to measure customer loyalty, satisfaction. So based on the score of the organization, focus on development in the sectors like customer support, delivery, etc. We can use this NPS. Actually, you too also have taken part in NPS. Like whenever you purchase any kind of product or service from any website like Flipkart or Amazon or something like that, every time you all are tend to give some sort of ratings. So that rating may vary from 0 to 10, or uh, -100 to +100. It is completely based on the campaign what they are focused towards. So that is what known to us as net promoter score. Afterwards, we can say mood chart is there. So uh, mood chart is a bit different. This is used to track down the mood or reaction of the stakeholders, whether they like the project or not like the project. If they like the project, they can check the smiley picture, and if they are not, then they can denote their understanding in the frame of mind. So this mood chart will help to understand potential issues and areas of improvement in term of manpower. When do I need to do this? I can do this when I think that the work is very boring or the work needs special attention. Okay. At that point of time, we can focus on this type of measurement. Okay. And apart from that, we can also go for morale. Unlike mood chart, this morale is something which helps the organization understand project team's morale by using surveys with some questions based on feeling and satisfaction, or scaling those using numbers can help organization to track down the mood of the project team members. Okay. And then comes turnover. So another way to track the morale is being looking forward on unplanned project teams turnover. So high rate of unplanned turnovers may indicate low morale. Lastly, what we need to measure, we need to measure forecast. Okay, let me write those again. So in stakeholders, we can go for NPS, means net promoter score. Then we can go for mood chart, and we can go for morale, and can go for turnover. Then we have another one, that is forecasts. Now, in every sphere of life, anything can happen, and in the project is also the same thing. So anything can happen at any time during the project operates. So now, what if if the project team has that assumption before the incident, then the project team can discuss that within themselves and can take measurement plan for the future, and that particular thing is known to us as forecast. Like we have weather forecast. What we do is, after understanding the weather forecast, we do take umbrella, raincoat, or we don't take anything. Why we take umbrella and raincoat? Because to resist us from the drops of water. Like that, in business also we get some sort of forecast. But what those are? The first forecast over here is known to us as ETC. It is not etc. Is estimate to complete. So this is a kind of forecasting technique to measure the expected cost to finish all the remaining project work. Okay. Then comes EAC, means estimate at completion. So estimate at completion means it is the earned value management measures which forecast the expected total cost of completion of the work. Okay. Then comes VAC, that means variance at completion. So variance at completion means, uh, again, this is an earned value management measure that expresses the difference in between the budget at the completion and estimate at completion. So can anybody tell me what is estimate and what is budget? Two definitions I provided earlier. Am I audible to all?
Maybe something approximate.
Yes.
Budget is somewhere which is allocated to a specific department of specific person. So specific amount will be allocated.
Okay. Anyone who can tell in more better way?
uh, According to me, estimate is like it's on the assumption basis that to complete this project we have to estimate certain things and their valuations. And budget is something which is approved and given to the particular department to carry out the work in that particular budget.
Actually, both are correct. First one is assumption, which is again based on our experience and all. But the approved thing of that quantifiable measurement is known to us as, or quantifiable thing is known to us as the budget. So by doing this forecast, we can understand the variation. Okay, that when it was launched, okay, the what was the budget at that point of time when it got completed, and the estimate what we have understood or what we have prepared to complete the differences. So VAC actually tells us this difference, nothing else. And after that, we have one more thing that is known as TCPI. That means to complete performance index. So this is again a earned value management measure that estimates the cost performance which is required to meet the specified management goal. Okay. So how we can calculate the TCPI? So TCPI can be calculated using a formula. So let me write it down. TCPI is equivalent to um, the remaining work divided by remaining funds. Okay. So by doing this, we can calculate the TCPI. Okay. Then comes regression analysis. This is also a kind of analysis what we can do here. So this type of analytical method where a series of input variables are examined in a variable in a relation to other corresponding the output result in order to develop the mathematical or statistical relationship. And lastly, we can go for throughput. Okay. Throughput relation. So the analytical method assesses the number of the items which is being completed in a fixed time frame. Like suppose a cafe owner wants to know about the throughput rate for the coffee drink over the course of a 12-hour a day. Now the count of the number of drinks made over the course of the period of the time and determined that 300 coffee drinks were made and sold. So in this example, the inventory is 300 drinks, the time is 12 hour. Okay, so inventory means I, T for time. So inventory was 300 drinks, time was 12 hours. So the cafe owner would calculate throughput by dividing inventory by time, or 300 drinks divided by 12 hour. That means 300 divided by 12 into 25. So their throughput rate is 25 drinks per hour. So why we use this throughput? To measure a quantifiable thing based on certain period of time. That is known to us as throughput relation. So if you have any query, you can ask me. It is a bit confusing. Ravi, any issue by understanding these things? Why we should what to measure?
No, sir. No, sir. Clearly understood. Sir.
Okay, John.
Understood, sir.
Okay, Santosh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Kalpana.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, 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 yes. So is it understandable for you?
Yes, sir.
Any issue? From your words, I don't think that it is clearly understandable for you. Is it?
No, it's not that. I'm just
Okay.
focusing on the terminologies, the terms, the words which is used.
Okay. So at a glance, if we see that what is measurement performance domain? So measurement performance domain is nothing. Here we are getting the opportunity to understanding or tracking the actual versus the planned. That is what measurement performance domain is. So that is the reason we need to understand three things. One is the metric. What is the correct metric for measuring the thing? Second line is baseline. What is the minimum degree? Okay, again there is a miss. And the third one is dashboard. As we are dealing with multiple or huge amount of data, it's not possible for a person to understand each and every line and based on that take decision. So we focuses on the graphical interfaces, the pie chart, the line chart, the candles and all. That is what dashboard is. Now, before doing anything, we need to understand what we need to do. Means what are the things we need to measure and when we need to measure. Okay. So when we need to measure everything throughout the process. Okay. And when we do this thing, we do this thing by assessing the key performance indicator and by assessing effective metrics. But what to measure? Basically, we need to measure deliverable metrics, delivery, baseline performance, resource, business value, stakeholders, and forecast. Now, how to measure the deliverable matrix? We need to understand. We need to take the information on the errors or defects what has happened throughout the project. We need to measure the performance. Then we need to focus on technical performance measurement. Okay. Then what? We need to focus on delivery. So delivery in when we are measuring the delivery part, we have work in progress. So through this work in progress, we can understand that how much we have completed, how much we need to do. Lead time, cycle time, queue size, batch size, processing efficiency, all focus towards time versus outstanding work because we are focused towards understanding the delivery. Then baseline performance means how we are performing. So we need to understand the start date and finish date, effort versus duration, schedule variance where PV we can you can calculate. Okay. We can go for schedule performance index and we can go for feature completion rates. Then we need to measure resources. So planned resource versus the actual resource. We can understand the resource, how much resource we have utilized and what is the resource which is we have in our hand, and planned resource cost compared to the actual resource cost. So this resource is actually focused towards cost, how much cost we have planned for this project and how much it has been obtained. Then comes business value. So anything which happens, the project completely focuses towards the value. So here we need to focus on the business value. So cost benefit ratio, planning benefit delivery compared to the actual benefit delivery, return on investment, and NPV. By doing this thing, we can understand whether we should go for this project or not. If the project is not money making project, then we should stop. If it's a money making process, then we should continue and complete the project. Then we can understand the stakeholders. So we can do this by four uh, uh, systems, rather to say. One is NPS, one is mood chart, one is moral, one is turnover. So NPS means the rating what we provide to the service providers and all. So you can go it by from 10 to 0 to 10 or minus 100 to plus 100. Mood chart, it is basically the emojis, the smileys what we have. So based on the mood chart, we can assess or we can measure the mindset or a stakeholder's understanding or his or her willing to work in the project work. Moral chart is also a bit like mood chart, and there is also turnover we can focus towards, which actually shows us that the moral of the particular stakeholder. Then comes forecast. So forecast means again assumption. So there are ETC, EAC, VAC, TCPI, regression analysis, and throughput relation. So by doing this, we can understand where we are standing right now in the project and what we can expect in future and how we can fight that thing. So we need to keep ourselves ready if we face that stage. That is what forecast is. So now these two things are I believe those two things are understandable from your end. So this is one. Take a screenshot of this thing so that while getting through this performance domain, you can at least have some sort of understanding and mind mapping diagram so that you can focus on these things. And this is not the end of this uh, particular domain. We need to understand the measurement pitfalls too. Okay, but before that, I believe you all are hungry and would like to take the dinner break. So it is, I believe, what 9:40. So with it 10:10, can we expect to return to the session? Guys, can
Yes,
I
sir.
erase?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Oh,
Sure.
all right. So now we are going to understand the measurement pitfalls. Now, what do you people think that what could be the measurement pitfalls when we are on to measuring the project works? Anyone?
Uh, Comparing the data with wrong standards.
Okay, and apart from that, John, Kalpana, Santosh, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. Yes. See, till now we have come to understand about measurement and visualization, but few pitfalls are found in these measurements, and only on awareness of these pitfalls we can minimize the negative risk of effect. Okay, so what all those are? First of all, it's a bit new thing. It's known to us as Hawthorne effect. Okay. So there is a story behind this. In the year 1920, a set of studies was conducted at Western Electric's Hawthorne plant in Cicero. So Western Electric is a company and Hawthorne is a place where a couple of management people has conducted this study. So the Hawthorne effect refers to the tendency in some individual to alter their behavior in response to the awareness of being observed. That means, suppose you are doing your daily work, you are doing on your way. Now, suppose how would you feel or how would you react if someone put a CCTV camera and a microphone in front of you? How would you react? Would you react separately or you're working motion, your working attitude would remain same. John?
Sir, I didn't get you. Can you come again?
Okay, John, what do you do actually? What is the job you are in?
I'm in quality profession, quality specialist.
What?
Quality specialist.
Quality specialist. Okay.
Yeah.
So I believe all the time you remain with your computer with lots of data for analysis.
We do a lot of data analysis, and if we have this Pareto's analysis, like the cause and
Yes.
effect, we have a lot of productions happening. So we
Yes.
will just go through all these defect finding areas or any shortfalls in the uh, production output or in the yield. So we probe and we try to analyze and overcome that.
Means basically you have a desk job, right?
Yeah, best job. Yeah.
Okay. So now if I put a webcam, a CCTV camera close to you and a microphone close to you, what will happen? Would you change your working system, working attitude, or your working system would remain same?
Maybe something you become more receptive or more conscious that
Mm,
something is being it,
that means
the work will vary.
yes. That means the speed and the quality of the work may get deteriorate, right?
Yeah.
Ravi, what will happen for your end if suppose some person, your manager or your reporting senior would install a CCTV camera and a microphone in front of you to monitor you closely throughout your work?
Are you asking me, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. My attitude will change. I will be more cautious,
Mhm.
and unwanted moments and all that will be. I try my best to restrict because I am under observation.
Yes. So what happens? Many organizations are there who used to keep their employees in monitoring, in continuous monitoring. So for that reason, they used to, do certain things to track down all the employees. But as a result, what happens? We can face some behavioral changes. We can see some behavioral changes within those people, within those persons, in terms of their work, in terms of the speed of the work, in terms of the pace of the work, in terms of knowledge and distribution. That is what is known to us as Hawthorne effect. Why the name has come to Hawthorne effect? As this particular study was conducted in a place named Hawthorne in Cicero. The place name is Cicero, Hawthorne. It is a manufacturing unit of Western Electric as a company. So Hawthorne effect means if any person is making surveillance on you from very closely, you may have some behavioral changes within you, which may to some extent affect the work negatively. So that is one of the measurement pitfall happens throughout the project. Suppose you are trying to tracks some of your workers in work breakdown structure. So if you do it rigidly, then you may face Hawthorne effect. If their behavior gets changed, then you can say that okay, actually I have done this thing in my project and I have clearly see that there is Hawthorne effect. But if you are able to know this term, then only you will understand, else you will not understand what is Hawthorne effect. Like this. Right? So Hawthorne effect. Then comes another thing that is known to us as vanity metric. So vanity metric actually shows data but does not provide useful information for making decision. Means the data are not actionable and are not related to anything you can control or repeat in a meaningful way. That is known to us as vanity metric. Okay. Can anybody give an example on vanity metric? Okay, suppose, consider that a software development project is on the way as a new smartphone application. So a vanity metric is the context. In the context could be total number of application downloads. While a high number of downloads might initially appear impressive, it doesn't necessarily reflect the app's true value or the engagement of its user. The project team might be, better served by focus on actionable metrics such as daily activities, users, retention rates, and all. There is an application, and the name of the application is Dream 11, focused towards cricket
Betting.
betting. Yes. So there are so many types of application nowadays people are developing because they think that if they develop those things, then they will get a huge number of downloads and they can make profit. How they are getting? They are focused towards the numbers of downloads in the app store, but they are not focused towards the retention rate, towards the attrition rate, or towards the usage rate, because they don't have those things. They are only having one thing: there's a download rates. So based on the download rates, they are focused towards doing another kind of application like that. That is what vanity metric is. Demoralization. So the goals which are set to achieve are not achievable for repeated time, then the moral of the project team may fall. So people would like to see their hard work recognized and appreciated. Like I was saying that if you focus on unrealistic goal, right, then it could be counterproductive for your organization. Suppose you are doing the project work, and in order to go for fast tracking with the limited uh, physical resources, you are uh, focused towards human resource utilization more. Now if you do not have physical resources, how you can increase uh, only this, you can say, human resource to complete, to fast track your project? It's not possible, right? So if you do, then all the people who are in the project team will get demoralized. That is one of the pitfalls in measurement, because in measurement you can show that okay, we have remaining this time and we have remaining this resources and we have this manpower. So if I use this manpower, they're working for 8 continuous hours. So if I focus on 16 hours with the same manpower, if I give them some incentives, then they will work for us and we can go for fast tracking. Now if the timeline is 2 months and for continuous 1 month, you tend to make your people work for continuous 16 hours. After 1 week, they all will, medical attention will be needed for them. This is not unrecognizable thing, right? So these things can demoralize the entire people. Then we can say misusing the matrix. So misusing the matrix means this is all about focusing on the wrong thing, like focus on wrong metrics, working on out of sequence activities, or improve the performance indicators, right? These are known as misusing of matrix. Then communication bias. So this is one of the dangerous thing. Our pre-existing point of view on data can lead us to the false interpretation of data. That is what confirmation biasness is. Okay, I'm written communication biasness. Okay, so John is in this work. Okay, John, can you tell us something about confirmation biasness? Suppose we are focused towards wrong thing while assuming something based on the data. So what may happen?
Things are wrong, then we get wrong output, or when our analysis will be wrong. And,
Yes.
the time and effort we would have put to it will be wasted.
So
important to just verify the cause
yes,
before confirming the
yes,
effects or the
right. So Kalpana is also from this quality management thing. So Kalpana, what do you think if we have confirmation biasness, then what can happen?
First of all, we need to fail the compliance of the company, and then we have to face a huge compensation or what we call consequences to this, because giving a pulling incorrect data and analyzing on that incorrect data, it may lead to huge uh, misunderstanding in the organization, internal as well as external.
Yes, that means if we need to go straight, it may give us one diversion, which will lead us go towards wrong way, wrong path. And in project work, if we do so, then we can understand what can happen.
Yeah.
The project also can get terminated, right?
Yes.
That is what confirmation biasness is. And last, we can say correlation versus causation. That means here we will focus on threshold establishment and actions taken for a variety of metrics like schedule, budget, velocity, and other project specific measurements. Okay. So the first one is after breaching the threshold. If it is already has taken place, then the project team need to address the variance. So you can create an exemption plan, which is very simple, and you can call for a meeting with the stakeholders and discuss the issue to develop a plan. That means if you are facing some problem about some misinterpretation of measurement data, then you can do this thing. Okay. Now, these are the measurement pitfalls. Now, how to get rid of this? What do people think? How to get rid of these pitfalls?
We need to eliminate the errors
But how?
to set a certain process and the continuous monitoring on that and keeping a control. And normally people means organization, they abide with the compliance rules and policy.
Okay.
So we are abide to follow the compliance, then only we can go ahead. We need to take their approvals and certain things, and we have to follow their pattern only.
Okay. Yes. All the things what Kalpana has told is absolutely right. Right. So we need to understand the situation. We need to communicate with our team members. And as I told some time back, that we need to create some sort of backup plan, and we need to sit with our project team members so that we can implement that thing in our action, and we can get rid of these pitfalls. Okay. We can do this thing by growing and improving ourselves. And how we can improve ourselves? We can allow the project team to learn. We can, facilitate a discussion, take decision. Okay. We can help avoid an issue. We can prevent performance deterioration and others. So with this, we have understood the delivery performance domain. Now, if you people have any kind of, you can take a screenshot of this, and if you people have any kind of question based on this, you can definitely ask me. So I'm just waiting for your question.
So why the terminology in this measurement phases are different? What we use in real life or while we are working, all these terminologies are very different.
Yes,
Pitfall is simply known as an error or
yes, It's not error, it is error on using some measurement.
Yes, some data or something. Yeah.
But
False.
it is, yes, some falsification, some sort of problem you can say. Now, project management is exclusively different from other work. Like previously, when we understood this kind of thing, we understood what that we have uh, uh, risk, and risk is negative. But in project management, we can see that the risk could be negative or it could be positive. If we see the project manager, then project manager is actually the boss. Every manager is boss. But if you see the practice, right? If you see the domain or if you see the principle, it always says you that project manager is a leader, and a project manager must act as a leader. But but that person can change his or her leadership style as per the situation, right? So he should be a good steward first, not a boss. Trustworthiness would be there, care would be there. So there are many differences among the, within the project manager and other people who are the normal functional managers. We have seen the structures of the organization. If the project manager is having good power over the entire project, then it is known to us as strong one. If the project manager and the functional managers are having equal power and control, then it is known to us as balance. But if the project manager is having lesser power and control over the project in comparison with the functional manager, then it is known to us as weak. So everything, whatever we are doing, is from the perspective of project, and it is not an easy job. Terminologies gets changed. Many new things are there which we are going to learn because we are just going through the domains. After we complete the domain, interesting things are coming where we can have a lot of things which we can understand and we can help doing in not only in projects, also in our daily life and whatever work we are doing. Because this project management course is only not designed for the people who are focused towards doing the project. Some practitioners can also join this course and they can also have broaden their understanding, right? So these all are the reasons why people actually signs up for this course. Name of the domain itself is telling you all the things about it. Like this domain addresses all the activities and functions which are associated with risk and uncertainty. So uncertainty means threats and opportunities that the project team explore, they assesses and decide how to handle. Now uncertainty means state of not knowing or unpredictability. There may be many uncertainties like risk which are associated with not knowing future events. There could be ambiguity associated with not being aware of current or future conditions. There could be complexity which are associated with dynamic systems having unpredictable outcomes. The environment where project gets operated help understanding larger environments to navigate uncertainty. So economic factors such as volatility in prices, availability of resources, ability to borrow funds, and inflation or deflation could be there. Due to this, we can face uncertainty. Apart from this, legal or legislative constraints or requirement can also cause uncertainty. Technical considerations such as new or emerging technology can create complexity associated with the system or interfaces. Right? Physical environment, we can say, as it pertains to safety, weather, and working conditions. We can also have some ambiguity associated with current or future conditions. Now, after we discuss and understand this domain, we will understand, we can gather awareness of the environment in which project occurs, including but not limited to the technical, social, political, market, and economic environments. Proactively exploring and responding to uncertainty, and awareness of the interdependence of multiple variables on the project. Right. But before going to these things, we need to understand certain definition. So can anyone tell me what do you mean by uncertainty?
Unpredictable, sir. State of unpredictable.
State of
Unpredictable.
unpredictable. Okay. State of unpredictability. Okay. Okay. This is what when you have
Not an accurate answer.
yes. You can say lack of right. We can say this when you have lack of information for decision making. The state can be regarded as uncertainty. Okay. Then what is ambiguity?
Confusion.
Sorry,
Confusion.
Confusion. Yeah. Confusion.
confusion. Okay. Santosh, what do you think? What is ambiguity?
Something which can explains in many ways or with many examples and scenarios.
Okay. We can say when we have lack of clarity, take decision. That is the state of ambiguity. Right. This could be related to any aspect of the project, such as the requirement, the project objective, the project constraint, and anything. Then what is complexity? Santosh, are you there? Ravi, Santosh.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. So
Yes, sir. Yes.
what is complexity?
Criticality.
Regarding
I mean, the variance, complexity is the variance in the criticalness,
okay.
unexpected, let's say, number of defects.
Okay. This is what complexity is. It is, you can
Difficult to
say,
constitute.
the characteristics of program or project, or the environment of the program or the project, where you find difficulties to manage the human behavior and system behavior, which creates ambiguity. And this thing resists you to take any kind of decision. That is what complexity is. And what is volatility? We always say
Rise and fall. I mean, up and down, not standard.
yes.
And that again may be humans' behavior. They're not the same every day. One day they may be high productive, next day could be low because of certain situations. So it's not stable
Yes.
in nature.
Yes. It is all about rapid and unpredictable change. Like we used to say, the share market is changing very rapidly. It is unpredictable. The market is very volatile.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? So these are the things which are associated with this uncertainty performance domain. So whenever we need to understand uncertainty or something like this in the project, we need to understand the difference among uncertainty, ambiguity, complexity, and volatility. Suppose if any person is telling a technical person that the the precision of this machine is very volatile, then we understand that something has happened with that machine, which machine for that reason the machine is not working as per the expected way. It is every time it is providing some unpredictable things which is not actually expected from that particular machine. Or any people can say that this is a situation of ambiguity. I don't understand what to do. That means at that point of time, he is trying to take a decision, but as that person don't have any clarity on their work, that person is unable to complete the job. Suppose the project manager has told a person, you need to create a report which is consisting of all the name of the working staff in the project. Now, what kind of report, what would be the platform, how that person need to send to the project manager through email or through pen drive or what. So that person hasn't confirmed yet. So that is a situation of ambiguity for that particular staff, for the employee. Okay. Now there are various kind of uncertainty. Okay. So if we see the kinds of uncertainty, then there is one type of uncertainty that is known as general uncertainty. Okay. So for general uncertainty, the effects in the project cannot be predicted precisely. So potential outcomes which are positive are known as opportunities, and the things which are negative are known to us as risk. So to respond to uncertainty, there are several options which you can find. How to find general uncertainty? What do you people think? How we can fight with uncertainty? Who can tell?
Please come again, sir. What was your question?
Question is how we can fight uncertainty. Uncertainty means
as per
what?
the definition, we have lack of necessary information for
Yes.
decision making. So we can fight uncertainty by getting all information, but thorough information, going deep into the problem.
Okay. So we can tell that.
Acquire the information from the right source with the authentic evidence to it.
Yes. So first of all, we need to gather information, right?
Gather.
And how we can gather information? We can conduct research. We can engage SMEs in the project, right?
Yes.
Make
Brainstorming
market
session.
analysis. Yes, brainstorming sessions, market and analysis should be there, right? And we can gather huge amount of data and information, and we can go through that data information, and we can, let the uh, information, the lack of information, we can kick off the lack of information, and we can uh, fully have information on the project work, and we can diminish the uncertainty. Okay. And apart from that, we can go for, uh, we can go for preparing for multiple outcomes. Prepare for multiple outcomes. That means if there are some limited outcomes from uncertainty, then project team can prepare them to get those outcomes. But by prioritizing the work, the team can also focus on other works. Suppose something uncertainty is there in the project work. So keeping that thing in sideline, we can focus on other sphere of the project work, right? Later on, when we can gather the information, we can focus on that work again. We can use set-based designs. That means to minimize uncertainty, only option is to get the alternative. This thing actually helps the project team to look after the cost, the quality, the risk. This helps the project team to explore options of getting the knowledge in working with the alternatives. And lastly, we can say build in resilience. So we know what resilience is, right? So when we understand or when we learn from our failures, right? So resilience means the ability to adapt and respond quickly to unexpected changes, we can say. Here, if initial approach is not effective, the project team and organization need to be able to learn, need to be able to adapt and respond quickly to that adverse situation. So this was all about general uncertainty. But what about ambiguity? So this is also bit same.
Set-based design, you mean to say the SOP or the system-based something?
SOP. So if we talk about ambiguity, then we already know that ambiguity is in project management has to do with lack of clarity, which has an unclear statement, unclear task, unclear goal, these kind of things. So this could be related to any aspect of the project, such as requirement, project objectives, project constraints, etc. So it's important to identify ambiguous situation in the workplace to successfully overcome them. Now, if we talk about types of ambiguity, right, then we can say there are basically three types of ambiguity are there, which are conceptual, mean lack of effective understanding, and situational, means when more than one outcome is possible, which has multiple options to solve the problem in a form of situational ambiguity. Okay. So when we talk about solution of ambiguity, we get three things. One is the progressive elaboration, one is experimentation, and the third one is prototype. Now, progressive elaboration is a new thing, it's a separate thing. Let me tell you this thing. So the name progressive is telling us that that this uses iterative process to increase the level of detail. Like that means as the project goes on throughout the progression, we can get elaborated things to understand. That is what is known to us as progressive elaboration. It is a technique which is used by the project managers or the project management team in order to understand or fight with the ambiguity, because every project is unique, and these uniqueness again generating some unique risks or unique ambiguities. And ambiguity, when you would like to know this ambiguity, it's not that much of understandable that फट से आप समझ जाओ कि ambiguity क्या है.
Right.
Right? So how many types of ambiguity are there? There are basically two types of ambiguity. One is conceptual and one is situational. Let me write this thing here. Wait. Conceptual and situational. And these are separate things. How to fight with ambiguity. Okay. Then comes the third one, that is complexity. So sometimes projects are very difficult to manage. We fail, we feel difficulty while managing a project or program or environment due to some sort of human or system behavior or ambiguity. So if there are many interconnected influences interacts in diverse ways, we can see complexity. So to deal with complexity, there are many ways where some are, we can go for, some are system based and some are process based, and some entails reframing. So let's understand one by one. So first one is the complexity, which is known to us as system based, and then what? process based. Okay. The third one is reframing. So these are the three things in complexity. Okay. So let's first understand the system base. So if we would like to go for the complexity handling, so we can do two things. We can go for decoupling and we can go for a separate thing that is known to us as simulation. Now, can anyone uh, think about decoupling? What could be, what could decoupling could be?
Disassembly, sir.
Yes. So we can say decomposing or something like this. So to reduce the number of connected variables, decoupling plays a great role in it. It helps determine how system works on its own to minimize the overall size of the problem. If we break the things which is creating the complexity and we can take care of individual thing, then definitely we are going to overcome to the complexity which are system based. And if we talk about the simulation, then it's all about applying similar thoughts with unrelated scenarios. That means from experiences we can say that okay, this machine has not done its job. That means maybe this part of the machine is not working. We are providing similar thoughts what we have from the previous from the previous experiences, right? Or if a new joining person is there, if the person is a refresher, okay, is a fresher person, and that person has got an opportunity to work in the project and that person faced this kind of problem, then from his or her previous studies they can apply the same thought without unrelated scenarios. So simulation could be one thing. We can use the complexity and sometime it helps. I won't tell you that all the time simulation helps, but sometime it helps. But decoupling always helps. Then comes process based. Okay. So one in process based is iterative. The second one is engage. And the third one is fail safe. Okay. So iterate means we know iterative. Iterative means adding a single feature in one time and then need to identify the work and its kind and then need to learn customers reaction and lastly need to know what the project team has learned. That means when you are creating something, suppose you have complexity with you, so it is completely based on the process. So what you need to do, you need to prepare that thing, and after preparation you can let the other people think about this, about its work, about its behavior, and let's take the you can take the feedback from those person. If you think that the feedback is okay and the thing is acting in the right way, then congratulations, you have done the job and the complexity is not, you're not having the complexity within you. And if you think like no, there are some problem, then you can have understanding on the complexity, what type of complexity you are having. So iterations is one. Then comes engage. So here you need to build opportunities that engage the stakeholders. If you help those person build opportunities, then the stakeholders can engage themselves. They can, they can have the mentality of shared ownership, which I have already told you, and they can minimize the complexity, which is process based. And lastly, fail safe. So critical elements of your system which can which can create problems on functionality in event of a critical component failure. Like, I believe you all are aware of Linux system, right? Are you aware of Linux? Like we are using Windows or Mac.
Yes, one of the
Like, yes. So in Linux operating system, they have fail-safe system. That means if the operating system crashes, then the fail-safe system starts itself automatically and they control the particular machine so that people can get the output. That is what fail-safe. So if you have fail-safe technology with you, fail-safe means backup plan with you, then if there is complexity, then you can minimize the complexity by then. Okay. And last one, that is reframing. So reframing, we can go for balancing. Right. That means we know forecasting of data, which I was telling you a bit earlier. Okay. Which is based on balancing of the data. So balancing can include some elements whose variations are like to counteract each other's potential negative effects. Right. That is what balancing is, and by doing balancing, we can get rid of the complexity. Okay. After we have complexity, we have one more thing that is known to us as volatility. Okay, it is also a kind of a thing which we have in our projects. So we know what volatility is, right? So it does exist when where the environment is subjected to change rapidly. So it impacts two things basically in the project. One is cost and one is schedule. Now to address volatility, we need to do alternative analysis by using cost and schedule. But how can we do that thing? There are two ways to do this. One is alternative analysis and one is reserve. Someone's microphone is turned on. Please keep yourself on mute so that we can bypass the background noises. Okay, so volatility. Now, alternative analysis means different ways to meet objectives. The name itself is telling you all the thing, alternative analysis. So alternative analysis may include identifying variables to be considered in evaluating options. And reserve is like sort about cost reserve, which can be used to cover budget overrun when there is price volatility. That means if there is volatility, means constant up and down, unpredictable changes there. What we can do, we can go for the alternative one by choosing the best alternative to that particular process. And we can focus on the reserve. That means cost reserve, which can be used when you are running over the budget. That means suppose you are doing some work and due to volatility, you are not able to complete your work on time. So what happened? The timeline goes to some extension. And if timeline is getting some extension, then the cost and the budget will also definitely get extension. But to get rid of them, what you can do, you can use the reserve funds so that you can overcome to the situation. Okay, so this only volatility is means avoiding volatility is possible. Then we have another thing with us, that is risk. So we know something about risk, right? So if we think of risk, we find uncertain events or conditions, and if it occurs, then it can give either positive or negative impression on work. So if the risk is negative, it is more known as threat, and if the risk is positive, then it's known as opportunity. All the projects are unique, and thus those are associated with risk. So to minimize the grip of threat and extend the impacts of opportunities, the project team members should proactively identify the risk. Now, to navigate the risk, project team must identify the level of the risk exposure on the project objective. Uh, so if we talk about alternative strategies to deal with risk, then we may undergo some measures. What means if we need to bypass or minimize the threat, means the negative part of the risk, we can do some sort of things, right? So risk, there are two types of risk. One is threat and one is opportunity. So I'm telling you how to get rid of threat. So we can go for avoid, sorry, yes, avoid, escalate, transfer, mitigate, accept. These are the things we can do to avoid the threat. And to embrace opportunity, what we can do? We can exploit, we can escalate, we can share, we can enhance, and we can accept. So the threats and opportunities, over here are bit, the options are a bit more or less same. To avoid risk and accept opportunity, let me make you go through this, why this is. Mm, okay, so let's talk about the threat. So exploit, no, the threat is avoid, yes. So project team need to avoid threats which, when they, when they tries to eliminate the threat and try to save the project from the influence of negative risk. So you need to avoid these things. What to escalate? If threats are outside of the project scope of the, means project scope means, uh, if your project is risked in scope creeping, then you can escalate it, or the proposed response may exceed project manager's authority. Can anybody tell me from where we can have this problem of scope creep throughout the project work? From where we can get this scope creep? From whose side?
Please come again, sir. What was your question?
Scope creep, from where we can get this scope creep,
From stakeholder or customer?
right? So the stakeholder, the person who has initiated the project can always tell us, keep telling us like, do this in this way, do this in that way. They always, think like we are paying the money, so we can tell them to do the extra work. So that is what scope creep is, out of the scope, doing work out of the scope. So if something happens like this, it may endanger or it may affect negatively the project. So what we can do, we can escalate this thing to the project manager or the authority to avoid. Then comes transfer. To manage the risk by outside, transfer means the shifting of ownership of the threat to a third party to bear the impact of the risk. Means I am the owner of the organization, but I'm transferring my negative risk. I am shifting my negative risk to other company. How it is possible? Suppose suppose you have purchased a BMW car. Now in India, BMW doesn't provide any kind of service, but there is a company which is doing service for the BMW cars. Now BMW is selling the product, but service is the part of company ABC Limited. What BMW is doing, it is minimizing its service cost, and it is paying some amount of the cost to the company, and on return the company is doing the servicing of all the BMW cars. That means if there is something happens with uh, or which could have happened with BMW service part, now they are risk free. Okay, by sharing or transferring or shifting the ownership of that thread to ABC Limited company. If something happens, then the entire responsibility is of ABC Limited. This is transfer. Then comes mitigate. So actions can be taken to reduce the probability or impact of the threat by mitigating it. So early mitigation action is more effective and trying to repair the damage. And lastly, accept. So acceptance of threat shows the existence of the threat in the project. So accepting risk can include developing contingency plans. So if you prepare contingency plans, then you can accept that yes, threat was there in the project, but there's no worry about. We have a contingency plan and we are developing that thing as per the system. Like you are preparing a flyover over a river. Now the water flow could damage or endanger the construction project. So you should accept that yes, there are danger, but also there is a good news that we have a separate plan through which we can construct the bridge over the river. So that is what acceptance is. Then comes on the right side, that is opportunities. So an opportunity has positive impact on the project. We know this. So there are also 5 strategies which we consider for dealing with the opportunities. Okay. First is exploit. This is a kind of response strategy where the project team ensures of an opportunity occurs. And if they think, okay, opportunity is there, they try to, you know, extract that and use that. Then comes escalate. So this is same as we have discussed on the threat, but it is threat at that point of time. Now it is opportunity outside the scope. Now, if we are getting out opportunity out of the scope, then we can embrace that. Then comes share. So sharing opportunity to the third party who is best able to capture the benefit generated by the opportunity. Enhance. The project team member tries to improve probability of the impact of the opportunity. And lastly, accept. Unlike threat, accepting the opportunity acknowledge its existence, but no proactive action plan is needed. Here, after having these all things, you need to do one thing, that is known to us as a risk review. You can go for risk review. Now, what is this? To identify threats and to identify the opportunities. This is the simplest and you can say the finest process in daily stand-up meetings on project. So negative feedback or design reviews are the indicators of the threat, which may become as one of the factors of dissatisfaction of the stakeholders. But positive feedback helps inform the project team regards the areas of development. In this risk review, you can go for the preparation of SWOT analysis. This SWOT analysis is understandable by everyone, is known to everyone. Yes, Kalpana? I'm not getting your voice. Anyone? Do people know what is SWOT analysis?
No, sir. Please explain us.
Okay. Okay. Basically, it is a thing which is uh, like this. We need to understand the analysis. We need to create analysis based on the things. So SWOT, S for strength, weakness, right? Opportunity and threat. So we need to understand these four things based on which we can go for decision making. That is what known to us as SWOT analysis. This is a kind of analysis. I believe uh, for John and Ravi, it is under John and Kalpana. It is known to you, both of you,
Uh,
Also,
known, but we are not done with that. I'm not done with it.
because this is one of the part in your quality management thing. I believe in order to take decision.
because we have a separate compliance team. Maybe they
Okay,
would deal with this.
okay, but I think in the course of Six Sigma, they used to teach you how to do the SWOT analysis or
I
how
have
to go for the fishbone diagramming.
Fishbone we have done cause and
Okay, fishbone is known to you, right?
yeah, fishbone.
Okay, but SWOT. Okay, no worries.
What
I
I
will.
guess we mostly do it in these PMP courses only, I believe.
Okay, no, SWOT is also a part in quality management, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we can go for this SWOT analysis and we can go for the risk review meetings so that we can find the problems based on which we can go for SWOT analysis. Okay. Now, if we understand how this performance domain is interacting with other performance domain, then for the product deliverable perspective, this domain works with planning, project work delivery, and measurement performance domain. So it works as a sequence, like planning is done to minimize the uncertainty in the project and activities related to the project. Now, risk can be built into plans, and those are carried out through delivery performance domain, and measurement can specify the risk of the level. Sorry, level of the risk. So as project team are the main source to identify uncertainty, they can use their skills and can provide information, suggestion, opinion on working with various levels of uncertainty. That is what uncertainty performance domain is. You can take a screenshot if you see this thing, and if you go for the reading, then you will find very simple. You will find this thing very simple.